Hello everybody, the Law Gnome is here.
You'll treat him with the respect that he deserves.
So for the August 2018 episode of One That Got Away, I watched a movie that I was very interested in seeing in theaters, especially because of the fact that it involves some very important parts of American history, but when the reviews started coming in, I realized that it may not be something that I should see in theaters, but definitely see when it comes out on home video release, and that of course is the film Marshall, which is all about the first black Supreme Court Justice, Thurgood Marshall, before he actually becomes the Supreme Court Justice. And this movie has a stellar cast, including Chadwick Boseman, who plays Thurgood Marshall, Josh Gad, James Cromwell, Kate Hudson, Dan Stevens, and of course, one of the most well-known actors in television today, thanks to a little show called This Is Us, Sterling K. Brown. So this movie is not a moment in Thurgood Marshall's legacy that is one of his most well-known, the ones that we learn in history books. It's not about Plessy versus Ferguson or Brown versus the Board of Education. This is actually one of his smaller cases, and it took place in the 1940s during World War II, and it was about him defending a black man named Joseph Spell, who was accused of sexually assaulting a very well-known white woman in the very rich neighborhood of Greenwich, Connecticut. So when Thurgood Marshall, who is at that point in time a young lawyer for the NAACP, comes to Greenwich, Connecticut, he finds another attorney named Sam Friedman, who is played by Josh Gad, and asks him to take the case with him. Now, the interesting thing about Sam Friedman, played beautifully by Josh Gad, is the fact that he is very nervous about defending a black man because of the fact that, while he may be white, he is in fact Jewish. And during the time of World War II, he and his family are still trying to fit in, especially in predominantly Christian white neighborhoods, and trying, of course, to avoid anti-Semitism. And thinking about possibly defending a black man and maybe even winning the case, he didn't really feel so safe in regards to going against white people, especially when people do in fact know that he is a Jew. For me, it's not the best movie that I saw. As a matter of fact, I felt a little let down. I thought it was really going to be a fantastic movie, and truthfully, I feel a film about Thurgood Marshall should be a great movie, but I don't necessarily think it's why others would feel that it's a bad movie. I mean, first and foremost, I thought that the cast was great. I think the people who truly stood out in this film were Josh Gad and Dan Stevens. Dan Stevens actually played the prosecutor in the court case. Everybody else was good, but not great. And for me, that was kind of disappointing because I really felt that Chadwick Boseman didn't give his all in terms of playing this legendary figure in American history. I think another one of the weaker points is the fact that they didn't focus on one of his larger court cases. I mean, I thought that it was very interesting to see the fact that he was taking on these smaller cases rather than these massive ones that we all hear about, but I still feel that if we would have gotten Thurgood Marshall taking on Brown versus the Board of Education, I feel that we would have gotten a very impactful and a much stronger and recognizable film at the end of 2017. Also, he didn't really seem to be that much of a prominent figure in the film. He seemed to be more of a supporting actor than the main actor. The movie really does, if you think about it, revolve around Sam Friedman and the fact that he is taking a risk for his family, for himself, and for his law practice. So that's really what I felt the movie truly revolved around, and it was definitely something that I didn't see coming. But for me, it just didn't seem to be as fluid as I would have liked this film to be, and I feel that's why it caught its massive pitfalls. I still feel that this is an important movie for people to see because I think that a character in our history like Thurgood Marshall is someone that we should learn a little bit more about. I mean, we have learned a great deal about him, but to actually see a film showing him in action, I feel that this probably wasn't the best way to represent him. I feel we could have gotten a much better film, and I guess that's pretty much why the reviews were what they were. But I'm glad that I've seen it. I always enjoy a good historical piece. I still feel that if you are interested in seeing a movie that revolves around this very well-known figure, you should see it. But for me, it wasn't the best film that I've seen. I'm going to be giving Marshall a 2.5 stars out of 4. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please leave your comments in the box below, and let's discuss Marshall, and I will see you in the next one. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you're new here and want to see more of what my channel has to offer, please click on the link to my last video, or hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of my uploads. Content of all sorts is posted here quite often, so trust me, you do not want to fall behind. I will see you in the comments, and actions speak louder than words.